cultured person is one who knows something about everything and everything about something.
I'm trying to free your mind, Neo. But I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives.
Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children.
The question was, what did you want to be?
Are you good?
You're like a big bear, man.
I like it a lot.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Is the moment we've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to
Houston, the Eagle has landed.
Yes, mate, here we go. Welcome. You are now listening to and watching TAJ Talks, the home of capturing conversational tangents, made in the UK, recorded live and unedited, and going out across these great British Isles. To pebble beaches and across the sandy shores, from mountain high to valley low, to leafy green villages and to crowded concrete cities, from down south to up north and to where east meets west, and out across the whole of these United Kingdoms, as well as a global village that we call Planet Earth. I'm your host, Taj, like Taj Mahal, but I say Taj. Greeting you with Sunday salutations on your Friday or Saturday or Sunday, or whenever you're watching this. So, thank you for stopping by once again to be part of the journey. Special hello to all my JRC people. It's good to have you all back again. And so now that you're here, I just have one question for you, which is, are you ready for the tangents? Oh yeah. Because you know they're gonna happen. They always do. Yes, here we go. Week 34? Is that right? Actually, this is a tricky one because I'm filming this on a Sunday. And it's the first time that I've actually done a TAJ Talk, so recorded another TAJ Talk after having just uploaded the previous one. The whole thing gets a bit confusing because it's 2 weekly cycles. And so I'm recording it on a day which is different to the day it gets uploaded, and it's uploaded 2 weeks after I recorded. And so my next I have an editing week and a recording week, which is then followed by another editing week, which is then followed by another recording week. And so I've just uploaded at the end of my editing week, and I've gone straight into the start of a new week with a recording on Sunday. So Friday I just uploaded. So I'm confused. Really, it just feels a little bit weird because it feels like I've only just done the last one. But I like this. This is almost a taste of what it would be like if, you know, I am blessed by the good Lord above to somehow have this as like at least a weekly podcast where I have more time to do this on a weekly basis, because this would kind of be what it feels like. Just to remind you, Jimmy Church does this at the new podcast almost every... Wow. Just looking over there and I'm clipping so bad. Oh, my word. Oh, goodness. Look at... That's terrible. Looks like I'm shouting. How did I get that so wrong? Should I edit? Should I just redo the whole thing again? Never done it before. Not going to start now. and a tangent has thrown me off. Yeah. So, yeah, if I were ever blessed to be able to do this on a more regular basis, I guess this is what it would feel like, where I just go from one show to another show. Even though even that is nothing compared to what Jimmy Church does, even Joe Rogan does, where they're just doing it back to back, one day after another day, or maybe every other day. But anyway, I think we're in week 35 technically. I think this is actually week 35, Sunday. Yeah, we're in week 35 right now. Of 52. So end of the year's coming. 2022 is coming to an end, and timing has been something that's been on my mind a lot more recently. Just time. In the last podcast with Daniel, and I want to say thank you to Daniel for being here. Valdivieso. Yeah. The power of the mind. Yeah, man, that was a great conversation, and we touched upon sort of like even those bits like physics. I love going into all that kind of stuff about physics. I wonder if I can talk time travel with Daniel one day. Thinking I'm going to do that. But yeah, we were talking about time, living in the moment, the present moment. But time has been something that's been on my mind. But yeah, that last podcast with Daniel was brilliant, because we started touching upon the concepts of time. And as I was editing, I have to just say, as I'm doing, every time I edit, when I record it and I finish, somehow I think in the focus that is required to do the recording, where my attention is focused on, making sure the guest is at ease and feels comfortable being here, which is not usually that difficult, because there's usually a connection between me and the person anyway beforehand. But this particularly so when you start putting the cameras involved and getting now the thing is going too low. When you get cameras involved, you have to kind of just put that little bit of kind of extra attention to make sure everyone is who's doing this is comfortable, and also keeping an eye on the levels and all the technical aspects. But completely gone off what I was trying to say here. What was I trying to say? But I think I was saying, why was I starting to talk about why it takes a lot of attention to do all this stuff? Oh, goodness. I wonder why I do this. But anyway, yeah. When I was having the last conversation with Daniel, I've really just forgotten that point. I've gone really off on a tangent. There's so many things that go on. I don't know how to recover this. I don't know. I've just completely lost my train of thought. I don't have a problem. I wonder if I have a problem. Have I got a problem? You talking to me? I don't see anyone else in the room. You must be talking to me. Points for guessing which film that comes from. You must be talking to me. You talking to me? Comments. Put your comments in the comments section below. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I was talking something about something very specifically, and then I started talking about the complexities of making sure the guest feels comfortable, this kind of stuff. Well, why was I doing that? Anyway, we're talking about time, and as I was talking about, when I'm editing, I don't really fully appreciate the podcast until I come to the editing. Because when I'm in the moment, I'm actually focusing on things that kind of detract from my full enjoyment of the thing. And I said to Daniel last time in the last talk, I'm going to really just try and forget about worrying about things and levels, because I'm more or less getting used to things now. But when I was doing this one, last one with Daniel, I really kind of got into the frame of mind where I was enjoying it. But still, it for some reason, always in the editing, it just I enjoy it as an observer without the I have other stresses, like the editing takes some time to pick the shots and all this kind of stuff. But it was great. And I was talking about time. Now, time has been something, that was what I was saying before. Time has been something that's been on my mind more and more these days. I've been watching some stuff and coming across certain concepts and things, talking about, I mean, on the podcast series so far, there's a refrain to what the days that we're living in. And in a lot of my conversations with my housemates and people around me, there's a lot of conversation about like the times that we're living in. Are these unusual times? And I'm really starting to kind of, I'm really starting to consider like, what is it that, I don't know why I'm even talking about the time thing. Why did I even talk? didn't sleep very well last night. Yeah, we had. So I was. We had a barbecue yesterday, and yeah, I my focus is off after that because it was a late night, so it finished quite late, and it was pretty much all day. Moy did an amazing job of manning the barbecue and doing the food and all that kind of stuff. So great work, Moy. And I did what I could to pitch in and help out. But we it was a busy day yesterday. But it was great. We had Daniel round, Daniel's mum, Daniel's sister, Natalia was round, and we had Aser was around. Now you don't know Aser, but you're going to know Aser because today the talk is going to be with Aser. So that's the thing to look forward to today. And I guarantee you, there's not even going to be. I've not really had a chance because I'm recording this so early. I've not really had a chance to prepare the thing with Aser. So talk about tangents. I guarantee you there are going to be tangents in the talk with Aser today, and there's so many different areas that we could talk about. Aser is someone who I met through Moy, my housemate. Obviously, you know Moy. You've seen him on the Housemates podcast. And Aser is someone that I met through Moy about 2 years ago. We were just talking about it yesterday when he came here. And you know, there's things that I've discussed with Aser in the past that I haven't really ever discussed with him again. I'm really looking forward to where the conversation is going to go today. And you know, the fact that I haven't had a chance to really plan it is also making me excited to think that, man, this is going to be quite fun. There is not going to be the risk of nothing to talk about. There never is. Here's the thing: I'm only having conversations with people that I enjoy having. I enjoy these people being in my life. You know, I really have interesting conversations with them. So really, this podcast really is just that. That's why, I mean, there's a lot of the guys, you know, Rav's still adamant that 3 hours is too long. And I know some of the other guys, you know, Vic, when he comes on the show, you know, I'm sure he will say, I know the guys are constantly kind of talking about, I was getting messages in the WhatsApp group, and they were just talking about the fact that this is a 3 hour long podcast. You know, I remember when I saw Ranj just recently. Rav wasn't too well. We were visiting Rav, and me and Ranj, and Ranj was asking me. He was like, "Oh yeah, I heard you, so you're doing the podcast?" I know I mentioned the podcast. I went, "Oh yeah, I've started a podcast." He went, "Oh really?" And I went, "Come on, man, you know that I'm doing a podcast. You're telling me that Rav hasn't mentioned you? I'm not doing a podcast." He was like, "Oh well, yeah, no, that's great, man." He's like, "Oh wait, yeah, wait a second. Is that the 3 hour podcast?" Yeah, it's the 3 hour. So you guys do know about, and that's probably the key point. TAJ is doing a 3 hour podcast. My goodness. I mean, they know I can talk, and they know that they're like Joe was saying in the text messages and WhatsApp. He was like, TAJ, I don't know how you do it, man. You got the energy to do this 3 hour podcast, like 25 minutes. Yeah, man. Let's save the talk with Vic. Let's go for a 25-minute thing and maybe a Harry Enfield sketch is what they said in the thing. But anyway, man. This podcast really is, it could be a lot longer because the conversations that we will have sitting out in the garden. Yesterday I was so tired. Yeah, I got really sleepy really early in the day. I think it's just been a busy week as well. But editing had put me. Editing is not an easy task to do, and it takes a lot of energy. And I end up doing late nights doing it. So yesterday I wasn't in the best of talkative frame of minds. But there are moments when I can just sit with the people that are in my circle around, and we can just talk, and we talk about anything. And so that's what this podcast really is about. So today with Aser, it's going to be more of that. Don't know where it's going to go, and I'm excited to see it. It could be about his basketball stuff. I'll save it for when he comes. He'll explain. He'll take us into that conversation. Now, so that's that. That's how the thing is going. Now, we got 12 subscribers now. So the numbers are steadily going up. It's been a quiet couple of weeks. Things are kind of sort of settling. They get into a certain point now where the numbers and the figures are kind of settling. But it's still moving forwards, progressing in a slow but steady way. I still haven't got around to the point of consciously promoting this thing, which is by design. So I'm still in the early days. My target with this is just to keep going, just to be consistent, and just to keep having good conversations, capturing them, learn and refine the whole process, and just get used to it. So hope you're all enjoying it, and thank you for the 12th subscriber. David is one of the Motorbike. David is a new subscriber. So we've got to welcome David into the family, the TAJ Talks family, the official subscription family, but there's also a wider family of unknown subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, and you've been watching this and you've been watching a couple of them, and you're like, this guy's talking for a long time with people. Not sure I can handle it all in one go, but if you keep coming back and you're watching it, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Ding! I can't do the sound effects. I'm not really good at that bit. But yeah. Subscribe and join the family, and I'll give a shout out. So I went through the names last time, but we have an additional 2 names. We went from 10 subscribers and now 2 more subscribers, one of whom I know, David, and there's an unknown subscriber. So another unknown subscriber. If that's you, if you are an unknown subscriber, I worked out one of the unknown subscribers already now. So there were 2 unknown subscribers when there was 10, 8 subscribers who I knew of, and there were 2 unknowns. And then I just worked out, I should have done that earlier. It's like, wait, are you one of the subscribers? You went, yeah, man, I subscribed. I went, so it's you. Because sometimes the subscriptions don't show if there's a certain setting on YouTube. You probably don't even know if you've had the setting on or not. But when you subscribe, you can choose whether the person that you subscribe to, the channel you subscribe to, actually shows that you've subscribed. But Moy has his one, I guess, set to not show. So he didn't show as himself, but there was a subscriber, and found out that was Moy. So that brought down the unknown subscribers to 1. But then I've got another 2 subscribers, so the total subscription is 12. And I know David is one of them, and that means that there's another one who I don't know who it is. So we're back to 2 unknown subscribers. That's a lot. That was a long segment there talking about subscribers. I felt like I said the word subscribers so long. Maybe Ranj and the guys have a point. Maybe this doesn't need to be 3 hours. Maybe if I just it's tangents, man. That's the point. That's part of the thing though, isn't it? Is it fun watching tangents? You tell me. I've got episode 10 or talk 10 coming up. I'm planning for that talk to be just me doing a summary and Rav coming in for 25 minutes. Rav, that's it. You said it. They said it. 25 minutes. We're gonna limit you to 25 minutes. I'd love to do longer, actually. That's not the plan for the 10th one. I don't want to do an actual interview in the 10th one. It's going to be more of a summary, but I'm a little bit concerned about what it would be like if it's just me again. That happened with the very first podcast, where it was just me. No guest, no Skype call, nothing, just me. And that was, I think I was slowly losing my mind by the end of the 3rd hour. I might do that. I think I do need it, actually. I think I do just need me time to reflect, get my thoughts out, chat. The only thing about it is that editing, you would think that editing is a lot easier with that, but it's not, because you have to pick your moments and because I will be saying things and then going silent because I'll say something and start thinking about it, and I'm not saying it to anyone else, unless Bob was sitting there. I'll get to Bob in a second. Then editing is a little bit more time consuming. Well, it felt like it. Maybe that was just it was the first time I did it. But anyway. Are you following what I'm talking about right now? I don't even know where I'm going right now. All over the place. This is just, I want to do a 3 hour. Maybe I should. Maybe the 10th one should have a guest. Yeah. I'm going to think of that. I think I might change the 10th episode into a interview. Actually, I might just bring a guest on and have Rav come in for the first 25 minutes. Because look, this is almost coming up to 25 minutes, I think. Is it? Yeah, almost. Kind of. It's coming up to 20 minutes. I might as well have just done... Might as well have an interview with Rav. At least do the first segment. So maybe episode Talk 10, I will have a guest. Maybe. And I can just do a summary with the guest. Yeah. And I think... Yeah, okay, I'm going to think about this. That could actually be a way forward. Right. Bob. Bob Vader. The things are changing, aren't they? The changes are happening as we come to the end of season 1. It's not really season 1, but I think it's going to be more or less like 10 episodes will be when I start changing things, but I'm already changing things. As we go into talk 11, when it comes up, I'll start making some changes in the music, I think. You know what one I'm going to get rid of. But Bob is now sitting over there, where my Stormtrooper motorbike helmet used to sit, but Kyle is borrowing the Stormtrooper helmet. We have a guest in the house. Kyle's friend is visiting, so he's got the helmet. So I filled in that spot with Bob Vader. I went, all right, I'll just put Bob there. Usually Bob would sit over there, right? But Bob is over there now. Maybe that is going to be where Bob just sits now, so I don't have to touch him. What do you think, Bob? You happy about that? Of course, you can't say anything because you're a polystyrene head. So yeah. Now, as I look at my my audio recording thing, I think it's time to cut the waffle and just go straight into some news. That's always a safe thing to do. Is it? Never goes well, even with the news. So I've learned how to do screen recording on this new iPhone. So there we go. 3, 2, 1. And here we go. We're now recording. So now you're now watching what I'm about to share with you. In the news today, and since the last couple of weeks, where shall I start? You know, one story that is just coming out over and over again. I'm kind of glad that I did the recording today on Sunday, because I get to talk about this. Because if I did it on the Wednesday or the Thursday or the Friday next week, or this week, in the week coming up, I would have missed the chance to tell you beforehand, before it happens. Although you're not going to see this until 2 weeks, so you're not going to see this until after the event anyway. Makes no difference, just realised. But anyway, at least I can tell you tomorrow, on Monday, the 30th, 28th? Yeah, 28th, 29th. On Monday the 29th, there is going to be, it's getting more and more coverage in the news. I mentioned it when I did the episode, the talk with the housemates. The Artemis Moon mission. The Artemis Moon mission. This is big news, apparently. The Krispy Kreme debuts new donut in honor of Artemis mission. So, there we go. Krispy Kreme Donuts debuts new donut in honor of the mission. Krispy Kreme will launch a special limited edition Artemis Moon donut on Monday, the day NASA is expected to launch a rocket designed to eventually carry humans on a uncrewed test flight around the moon. So this is not even a crewed test flight. Haven't we been sending unmanned craft to the moon since, like, the last Apollo mission? I swear we've been sending. You had a Apollo 11. 11 was the one that landed, right? And then they had a couple more visits to the moon, famously Apollo 13, which went horribly wrong. But we went to the moon again. We actually had more guys going to the moon. It wasn't just Neil Armstrong, the only other guy. He was just the first. I thought we've been going to the moon. Maybe they just. Maybe I didn't. I did know that they had killed the funding for NASA had killed the funding for moon visits up to after a certain point. They had more missions into the 70s, I think, but I think the public opinion had got so public favor had lost interest in the whole moon thing. How was that even possible? How do we lose interest? Yeah, we've been to the moon. Great. What's next? Is that really the story? I kind of don't believe that. You telling me that the public weren't saying, right, no, genuinely, what's next for the moon? We've been to the moon. Moon. Why do I keep saying moon? We've been to the moon. When are we going to start building bases? Apparently, like, colonizing it. I'm very suspicious of that whole story of the moon thing about the 60s. I'll say it. Did we really go to the moon? Did we? You know about Stanley Kubrick, right? You know about the whole idea that Stanley Kubrick was great director at the time, was doing things about space exploration in his films. Apparently, the conspiracy theory is that we never went to the moon. It was filmed in a basement in the Nevada desert somewhere, or somewhere in the States, some top CIA location. They filmed the whole thing. This is a whole different thing. Did we actually go to the moon? The Van Allen belt. NASA came out later. I'm going way off this particular news, so I think I'm just going to take the whole thing about the moon. NASA came out decades later. I think it was only just recently, like 5 years ago. And NASA said, yeah, the problem of relaunching our space program and going back to the moon is that we have to take in consideration the Van Allen belt. And it was like, what? What do you mean? And NASA was saying, well, yeah, we have to consider that if we want to go back to the moon, like, and I think they were framing it like going back to the moon. If we do moon missions, it's actually not going to be possible because we have the Van Allen belt, because the radiation belt around the Earth would just fry all the system. But wait a second, why have you just shared that now, like in the year 20 whatever? You did it in the 1960s. With a lot less technology. Wait a second. Did you guys actually? Because if you look at the things with Neil Armstrong afterwards, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, and I've forgotten the other guy's name. Has that stopped recording? I think it has. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. They look very, very startled when they've arrived back. Okay, they may have just literally come back from the moon. Of course, you'd understand they might be a bit tired. Just crash landed in the ocean. We came back. We just did the first amazing thing ever done in human history. We just gone to the moon. Apparently, first time in human history. What about the days of Noah? Did the days of Noah, did they have technology like that? Did they go to the moon? Who knows? They decided to build a tower in Babel. They said we're going to build a tower that reaches to the heavens. I don't know, man. Okay, I'm going way off topic. Let's just go back to this. Anyway, the Artemis mission happening tomorrow, Monday. I could keep going on about this. My goodness, what's going on with my news feed with my phone? It's screen recording. No, don't cancel screen recording. Sorry, everybody. So we have that. And then we have just more news. Mars and Moon have the perfect ingredient to build future cities. It's all about the stars. Personally, I think it's all a big distraction. I think we're being distracted from events on Earth. I think big things are happening on Earth, and I think all the attention making us look to the stars is to take our eyes off what's going down here. I think it'd be great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great if it's genuine, but it has so many questions about what's going on. Drinking hot tea or coffee almost triples your risk of throat cancer. There's another news article. Drinking hot tea or coffee, I just read the title again. Study finds people most likely to consume hot drinks were 2.8 times the risk of esophageal cancer than non-drinkers. Drinking hot tea or coffee almost, they just say the same. These news articles, they say the headline, they repeat the headline, and in the first paragraph they repeat the headline and the first line again. Here's an interesting thing. I'm coming to the end of the segment. Apparently the Matrix, there's a whole theory about the Matrix, is that the robots, the machines, weren't actually keeping humans in those little pods and using them as batteries for sinister reasons. That actually it'd be more cost effective to take a certain type of parrot. If you took a certain type of parrot, you would get more energy from a certain parrot and its brain than you would from a human brain. So the energy to sustain one human being wouldn't be, the maths doesn't add up, so it'd be better to take a parrot. So the theory was, why were the machines keeping the humans? And apparently the analogy is, well, they were basically in a retirement home. They created a nice environment for these humans who'd become outdated. The machines had taken over, but the machines also realized, but that's mum and dad. The humans are our mum and dad, so we've got to kind of look after them somehow, even though they're redundant now. What we'll do is we'll stick them in a pod, and then we'll just tell them that, hey, that's the reality of the world. Yeah, enjoy your final moments, but you guys are kind of done. Kind of crazy. Anyway, we'll be back in 2 minutes for the real talk, TAJ Talks. See you then. Welcome back. Oh man, these glasses, I've just cleaned them. I think I've made them worse. You're here with talk number 8 with my guest today. Welcome back. This is now TAJ Talks with, introducing you to, with Aser.
There you go.
There he is. There's the man. So, this is the guest that I was saying to you. Special guest today, Aser, who I've been wanting to have you on this for a long time, man. And I say that, I say that because there's anyway, it's good to have you here, man. Thank you for making time.
No, thank you for having me here.
Hey, man.
It's appreciated.
I'm gonna explain to the audience everything. I'm gonna let you all know, everybody, why it's particularly, it's a milestone kind of thing. I'll explain it, but yeah, man, we're here. So you sound good. It sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So now I get to just explain. As you can hear, that music is just fading out. That's it. The idea is to trying to forget that the cameras are here. I know it's difficult when you've got lights in your face.
Hold the setup.
Yeah.
Hold the setup. Oh, but that's good.
Yeah. So the idea is well, let me ask you the first thing is, have you seen any of the TAJ Talks already?
I'll be honest, I don't saw really all of them.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit the beginning, the intro.
Yeah, I think what you said.
Something like that.
Yeah.
About Moses showed me, I think it was the first one. And I saw, oh, that is getting there. He way along, but I think it's because he always wanted to do it perfect. I know you're a perfectionist. Man, I don't want to do it like halfway. Man, 100% in. And it seems like, man, all set up, perfect. You look professional.
Well, thanks, man.
And that's how it counts.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do. That point though about the perfectionist thing. I'm starting to wonder if, I don't think perfectionism is a good thing. I think it pushes you forwards in some ways, but I think it's also a curse in some ways, because you. So as you just said, it took a while for this to start, but then you were like, well, he started now, but yeah, he took a while to start it. So the reason why I was asking whether you've seen any of the previous ones is just to know how much you're aware of the format and like how it works. So now I can explain it to you, because just so everyone knows, so this is. We didn't really get a chance to go through all the preamble stuff. It's going to be we're working towards a tight kind of timeline here. So as I said before, Sunday, first time that I'm doing it on a Sunday, but I'm going to kind of go through some of the stuff with Aser right now. So I'm going to go with you right through the whole thing right now, how this whole thing kind of works. So as I say, first thing is just conversation. Kind of the idea is to forget that it's been filmed, and it's literally. So this is what I wanted to say to you, going back to where this all started. Do you remember? Oh, well, I've said it to you before. We never had the conversation about, we actually met up. So it began, I met you at in the garden here, at the barbecue, Moy's birthday, 2 years ago.
Already 2 years. Oh, it's true.
It was 2 years ago.
It's 2 years ago. Man, it have to be 2 years, because I remember I have been twice in the Moy's birthday.
Moy's birthday, two birthdays here. Yeah, well, okay, so then that puts us in 2020. That makes sense, because when did the pandemic start?
Yeah, in 2020.
February,
April?
yeah. February of 20.
Yeah, February, yeah. It's February.
So if it was 2020, then yeah, you're right. There's been 2 years since I've known you. But so I met you there, and I think even at that time I had already been talking to Moy about maybe starting a podcast. And I think after you left, the next day, Moy said to me, he said, oh, maybe you should meet up with Aser or speak to Aser. He's doing a podcast. So I said, oh, okay. I was like, send me his number Check if he's all right with that, and me just reaching out, and I'll get in contact with him, and I'll plan to meet up, and I want to pick his brains. I want to work out like the technical equipment, all this kind of stuff. Like, what is it?
I don't have any idea all of this setup you have, but anyway.
But this is the thing. So when we met up, before we met up there in Newbold, before we even got into the podcast stuff, I think we'd been chatting for about 2 hours. We sitting there on that bench for about 2 hours.
Yeah,
or an hour.
No, I think maybe more.
Was it longer?
Yeah, I think maybe more, because I remember we arrived and it was a game, football game going on. He finished the game, and we're still talking, and after that, we have like a little walk, keep talking.
You had a game that morning?
No. The football game was in Nebo. You remember that?
Oh, they were playing a football game.
They were playing.
Yes.
So at least 2 hours, at least.
That's right, actually, because we sat there for a while after the football match as well. Well, that was the thing. So that's the whole point of having that meetup with you, was supposed to actually talk to you about, hey man, how do you start a podcast?
Yeah.
What kind of equipment do you get? That was the whole thing that Moy said to me. We ended up talking about everything other than podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
It was actually kind of weird because I didn't know you until the day or 2 days before, whenever that birthday barbecue was. And as I said to you yesterday, literally, I think that was one of the first moments. There were several moments like that where it kept confirming in my head, this is why it's possible to do a podcast, Taj. You can do this. There are people that you just got to sit down and just start recording the conversations. Do you remember what even we were talking about that day?
I mean, I don't remember all of the topics, but I remember one is kind of like important for me. I would say.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the Hebrew Israelites.
We've never talked about it since. Do you
Yeah.
realize that?
Yeah. Never. The first time we met, and never again. It's kind of like shocking.
It is. I was going to say, because that's one of the things I was thinking, what areas could we go into today, like things to talk about? Like I said to you, again, yesterday I was telling you, because literally it was yesterday we decided to do this. We just said, yeah, all right, cool, we can do this today. But it was yesterday when I was saying to you, usually I have 2 weeks to prepare.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the guest. And I think about the guest. So this one is being filmed at the earliest point. I've literally just uploaded number... I need to speak in. See, this is when the headphones become important, because I can hear when I'm speaking too far away. I literally just uploaded number... What did we just do? 7.
7. This is the 8.
Yes, this is number 8. So 7 just came out on Saturday, actually. It's always a problem with YouTube. I don't know what it is. And just my equipment this time around. And so I would usually then go from this point onwards. I would have had a guest lined up for around about midweek, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. And I would have already had some topics in my head. So whilst I was editing last week, I would have been thinking already what kind of things to talk about. I haven't had that chance with you.
We go straight to the business.
This is going to be, I really have zero clue as to where the conversation could go.
Man, that's good.
But you've already mentioned something, which should we just go straight into that first thing? Like,
it's Hebrew, up to you.
Yeah, listen, Hebrew Israelite. What was that? How did you just define it? What was the thing?
I mean, the whole point, I would say, like, we think we are the real Jews. Jews.
Jews. Yeah.
So,
when you say we think.
We, for specifies, man, my English is coming. Specify.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah. There where the slaves they've been sell for their own people, I would say. Like we know that story, because they know that that kind of tribal or type of how to say people.
Yeah.
They were strangers or foreign in that area of Africa. So they say, no, you need to pick these ones and you can get enslaved to go to all around the world.
Hold on, are you talking about Are you talking about the story of the Jews from like Exodus?
Yeah. So we're talking about the courses and all that stuff. Like you will spread in all the nations and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it becomes in. They're not all because we're talking about the black people. So it's black people, but also it's a specified one type of black people. So there are those they've been sell them to the other nations for the same people would say in Africa. But in the really, really, really main point, they're not the same tribe. They've been like when they went to Babylonia, they went to Egypt, they went to different spots that happen the same when they get slaves or sell to another nations. So they don't have that land.
Which land?
Like the land
that the country that they're living in.
Yeah,
whichever country.
Whichever country. We saw that many times in the Bible. Like they always kind of like nomads. No, we can say.
Yeah.
So nobody felt like they're part of the country.
Right.
So that's why I believe it's certain like the people in that area they say, oh yeah, we can sell these black people to another countries, because when it's many times when you talk about the slaves, all the stuff, and they get the point of no, your own people, they say the black people. So it's not just the white, they go ahead and they slave the people. No, their own people, they sell the slaves, and particularly in that thing is they sell that tribe because they don't belong to the same land. They always have to remove or move or keep walking around because they never feel part of some land.
So
that's a particular thing.
So you're saying that this idea of the Hebrews,
Israelites.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is that they become Israelites. So this is what my understanding. So I studied Old Testament when I was studying in Newbold. My area of specialization was Old Testament as opposed to New Testament, and then to a certain extent further specializations in the type of way you approach the old. I did biblical studies as opposed to systematic theology or pastoral study. Well, pastoral studies wouldn't be Old Testament, New Testament would be both. But so I did biblical studies. In biblical studies, you do stuff like where you do look at the world behind the text. You study the original culture as much as possible. The kind of the form of the text, like whether it's a poem or whether it's a narrative text or a historical text. So one of the things that I started to come across with my lecturer, Dr. Narkala, I wonder if I could get Dr. Narkala on this. It would be amazing if that could happen. But one of the things that started happening when she distinguished, she always used to say, whenever we would talk about stuff in class, she would just make the point and just be like, Israelites. And then the other time she would be like, Hebrews. And I was like thinking, wait a second, I'm getting confused now. What's the distinction? So I started to realize that the Israelites are the Hebrews after the Hebrews came out from Egypt and they had a king. So then when they have a king, and that king then has a nation, like an actual plot of land, they're then the Israelites, because it's Israel, the nation of Israel. And then after that, like way further down the line, you have the Jews. Does that match your understanding? Is that how you see it?
So that's, it makes the order of the we can say the line of the time. No,
Yeah,
we can say
the chronology.
The chronology.
Yeah.
Like we start with Hebrews, we end with Israelites, and then they become Jews.
Jews. When did they become Jews in your understanding?
My understanding. So, the two first states or phase, perfect, Hebrews, Israelites, and then to become a Jews, for me, making the research, making like what is really, really going on with that transition, why it becomes Jews, why is everything forget about the first part, and right now we just focus in the last one,
right?
And I found the situation that when all the tribes they get spread and they go to the different nations, one in particular, they learn the same commitments, the same, I would say, festivities,
yeah,
the same traditions, the same
religious feasts.
Yeah, about the Passover, how to say, Yom Kippur, all of them.
Rosh Hashanah.
No, that's Jews, because it's particularly because if you go to the Bible, they have a particular feast. The Jews they did, but they have another one. The Jews they just create.
They just created it.
Yeah, for the I want to say clan, but
tribe.
Just for them.
Are they a tribe? They're one of the 12 tribes.
We're going there. We're going there. Okay, so to finish the first point, so that becomes of one, we can say, no Hebrew or no Israelites start with relate with those that have like the same commitments, Bible thing.
So non-Hebrews first. Non-Hebrews first.
And in the Bible they said about you kind of like, I don't know if in the text exactly, but talking about you don't really appreciate my commitments, my work, and those they do, they will be success.
This is the God that they worship said to them
like, okay, you don't appreciate. You are the chosen. You are the people who I chose to follow me.
Right.
So those they follow my commitments, my festivities, my
instructions
in general, like a
lifestyle,
not just I don't kill, or I don't know, no, like a lifestyles that will be successful.
So God was actually, I just want to clarify it. So God was saying to a certain group of people, Hebrews, that he first called, you guys don't appreciate what I've called you to be, but I see another group who are non-Hebrews, and they are more, they are followers more of me than you guys, who I started.
More dedicated, or more, I would say, they take it really seriously.
Committed.
Like they really believe this is true.
Okay.
So, because you know the story, we always believe and fail, believe and fail, believe and fail,
Yeah.
believe and fail. And we always have the second, the third, the fifth opportunity, and we keep failing.
Okay.
But the difference is, in one point, we don't know who we are.
When you say we, who's the we?
that's the conversation from the beginning. So
Okay.
So that particular, I could say individual or tribal or non-Hebrew who knows all different festivities, commitments, lifestyle.
Right.
They become believers.
Okay.
In this particular way.
Okay.
And that's, for me, is when become the Jews. They claim they come from David, the king of David. They claim they become from Solomon and all that stuff. But really and truly, they just take the scriptures, the festivities, the lifestyle, and they believe they are them or yours or what,
that they were the original tribe or whatever people.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the Jews that you're talking about, modern day Jews, living in Israel,
yeah,
and all over the world as well.
Yeah.
You're saying that they're not the original tribe. They are the non-Hebrews. So what period of time, in your understanding, did they take on the lifestyle of? When did this happen? Obviously,
for me, it happened when the original Hebrew Israelite, they start to forget who they are. So it can be in 500 years or whatever, because that is one of the courses you see in the Deuteronomy. Like, you will forget who you are. You will forget the language. You forget everything, and you will. They talk about you don't have. I don't know what to say in English, but anyway, talk about the courses. Talk about the different type of humiliations and all that kind of stuff, like
punishments that would come on them.
Punishment for don't follow
Yahweh.
The commitments in the beginning until the end. So we can say, for me particularly for the resort I done, is when you or they or we became slaves.
Yeah.
They get strictly don't be allowed to get the Bible or the scriptures. So they, generation trust generation, they cut the information of the Bible. They cut that structure of learn the scriptures and give that knowledge to the sons, and the sons to the sons to the sons to the sons. So at the end, and also they change the names. So if you cut the information, you cut the names, you cut the language, you don't have
history,
a tribal, you don't have a history, you don't have nothing what you can say I belong.
Okay.
So that's why I think, coming back to the first thing, the own people or blacks, they sell blacks to another nation. In that period of the time is when that course start happening. Like they don't know who they really are.
So this is going way back.
Yeah, way back.
When they started to drift away from...
When they start to separate to all the nations, they start to cut it off the information, cut it off the language, cut it off the names.
Did you say that they would change they would cut certain things out of the Bible itself?
No. I say like so the masters of them, they cut it off the information about the Bible, information about the language. You can speak that language. You need to speak this language. They cut it off the names.
And so naturally the people started to forget who they were because
who they were.
Yeah, you see, the interesting thing about that is that is what they said about. So there was when Israel. So the nation of Israel. This is the thing. In my head. We kind of started with the beginning, the Hebrews. Then we was talking about Jews. These are the modern day Jews. Then we're kind of coming back to the kingdom time, the Davidic dynasty. But when Israel became a nation, they had their 12 tribes. And then what happened was they had a split between, they call it the northern Israel.
No.
And see, I'm surprised how quick that's gone.
That was
Again,
quick.
That's very quick. It happens every single time. I get so... But you know what? This is the first time I have sat with a guest and within about 2 minutes we just went straight into something. I think that's the first time that's happened. And
that's a good vibe.
It's a good thing. I think I'm gonna go that way in future because the first half hour with a guest is usually slowly easing it in, kind of explaining to people how I know the person. And all the rest
we
of it.
skipped that.
We went straight in. We went there right into. Man, this is a deep topic, and I'm surprised we've never spoke about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm back on that bench now.
Yeah, it feels like that.
It feels like it. I swear it was a Sunday morning as well.
Yeah, it was Sunday. No, Sunday or Saturday? No, Sunday. I think so. Yeah.
We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to TAJ Talks. Just talking to Aser. I cut that break. I went into that break really fine on the line. Sorry, I had to quickly just go say to you, as you were talking, I just quickly go, yeah, back in 2 minutes.
Back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I was just saying to Aser, this is already feeling like we wasted no time. We just got straight. We wasted no time. I think this is the new format. I think I'm going to do this with guests. Anyway, good to have you here.
To the point.
Yeah, man.
No, man. I'm glad you bring that topic out because, if I'm being honest, I think it's the no, I know for sure. I only talk about this topic with you.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never had this conversation with anyone else?
We never. Normally, I speak with my family, my brother, but with nobody else.
Yeah, I remember you said back then we were sitting there on the bench that day, and you said that your brother's a pastor?
I have two. So the middle is a pastor.
Yeah.
And chaplain, and the oldest is architect. So it's nothing about with the church.
Oh, he's not into the sort of church.
But he's the one who believes in the Hebrew Israelites.
Oh, the older one who's not actively involved in the church.
Yeah.
He's the one who introduced you to all this.
Correct. I mean, funny enough, it was a good point because it was in my bottom grass worst tape of my life when I talk with them and I say, listen guys, I want to really, really give you a go for this thing of Bible and all this style of life I've been seeing since I little.
Yeah.
From my parents, from my brothers and all that stuff. But I want to do it for my own. Don't just believe what you say or what you say or what you say or what I've been seeing all my life. So I want to really get into from my own perspective, from my own think of ways or with my own understanding when I read the Bible or when I'm go through the Bible to have my own experience.
What led to... Sorry, go on. You're going to say something?
No, so when I say that, then, you know, my parents, my father, my mother, my father, they say, oh, I'm great to you finally...
Taking an interest
and do it by yourself. And I remember my old brother, he say, okay, so take a look about two little things. I remember mentioning like the Egyptians. They say Egyptians, no?
Ooh, he said look into the Egyptians.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember because it was shocking for me. Looking for Egyptians.
I find that interesting just now because Moy's been talking a bit more about like Egyptian stuff.
Egyptian.
Yeah.
So he say like, you saw they always break the nose of all the pyramid.
I've heard this. The Sphinx as well. The Sphinx.
The Sphinx. And you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Egyptians, they were black.
And the nose shape is a very African looking...
Very African trait, no? Characters or
feature.
Feature, we can say. And in the history of Moses, also how they know when they hire in the Egyptians culture, because all this topic is basing like all of them they are black. So you can go to the tribe they're not black and hire like you one of them. So when that happened, when they throw it to the river and
when Pharaoh was going to kill all the firstborn.
Yeah. So they grab it and they passed from Egyptian.
You mean Moses?
Yeah, Moses.
Yeah. He became an Egyptian, yeah.
Yeah.
He was raised as a...
But he can say he's Egyptian. So the Egyptian and the Hebrews, they look the same.
Okay. So you're saying there wasn't really a big difference between being a
if you know you can do it. So so for example, I have a son and I'm in India, we can say.
Yeah.
So my son,
yeah,
if you saw it when they have 3 months, you know it's not Indian.
Right.
So that's the thing. So they look similar. That's one of the things he mentioned in that
That's
moment.
one of the things he mentioned.
One of the things.
To get you
to
interested into this.
To
help you
think about it.
Okay.
And then I remember
what was the second one?
He told me about when Moses goes to the Mountain Sinai.
Mount Sinai, yeah.
When he put the hand inside and he take it out, it was white.
Right. That happens a few times.
Then he put it back and it becomes normal. What is white? What is normal? So if it's white, what was before?
I always understood that to mean was a reference to leprosy.
Yeah.
Because that happens to his sister. When she starts to... They're in the desert, they're in the wilderness, and everyone is challenging Moses' authority, including, at a certain point, even his sister. And she starts to get a bit upset and disillusioned with Moses, thinking, like, what's he doing? I don't think he knows what he's doing anymore. And then she starts to complain, and then what happens is they challenge Moses' authority as the leader of the children of Israel, and she gets struck down with some kind of, I think they called it a leprosy, and I think it describes it in the same way, that she went white.
Yeah.
So the leprosy is kind of like, when someone has like a pigment condition, whether you're white, black, brown, whatever, your skin goes
clear, lighter
than whatever it was.
Yeah. But it's always mentioned like also like a I don't know for certain where, by the tone of the skin, it's more like I don't know 100%, but if I find out, I would say. But
are you talking about Solomon in the Songs of Solomon? He talks about he does describe the woman in the Song of Solomon. The woman he describes the woman that he's talking about. He says your skin he's describing the color of her skin, and he's describing her as what seems to be a dark-skinned woman.
Yeah.
Is that the bit you're talking about?
No, I was mentioning about Moses and that kind of thing.
Okay, so to do with Moses still, yeah.
But they have a few things also. I don't remember particularly. He's talking about that kind of sentence. And for me, one of the most clear, open mind, like we can say, blow my mind. When I saw it.
Yeah,
is the only tribe in the earth. By the way, it's in Africa. That have all the races on one. So what does that mean? So in that tribe, by the way, they're black. They have Chinese. They have gingers. They have
Indians.
They have normal black.
Viking-looking Europeans.
Looking. All of them in the same tribe.
Which tribe is this then? You're saying there's a tribe that actually exists somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the exactly name, but you can find it in Google. Man, Google it.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Google it. Why not?
Do a screen record.
I don't remember the properly name, But yeah, I remember when I and actually I think I saw it in anthropology in the university. And actually, by the way, that teacher, it was saying political way or kinda. It was mad. It was crazy. It was insane. Because I remember, man, I need to say that story. I need to say it.
What there was when you were studying anthropology? You just said.
She was the teacher of that. When you make the search in the video, I would talk about this story. Imagine everybody in the in the class, the anthropology, and the teacher, start saying in the class, okay, right now I want to talk about the story of how the black men they become a human man, or how they how they burn the black men. I say like what?
She said she wanted to talk about how they burned the black man.
No,
how they destroyed.
No, how they burn, like make alive. How they create the black men or the black people.
Okay.
And she's like, oh man, I need to pay attention of that one. So, first of all, he started like the world. It was full of the white people, by the way.
Okay.
So the white people was first.
Okay.
And the way to make the human being, it was like they have like a river, you can say, no, a lake, you can say.
Right.
And God, they say to the human being to go to the river and go out, and they become
white.
That don't make sense if everybody was white at the beginning, but anyway. And then more people were going through the lake, and the lake becomes more small until it was like how to say it? A mud? No, a mud, like a little.
Oh, like
yeah, when
just like a
little pot of
a puddle of mud.
A puddle. So they don't have more water in that case.
Yeah.
So they put the feet and the hands, and that's why we have
the
lighter the light in the hands and the feet. That's how became how they create the black.
That's what this anthropology lecturer was telling you.
And the glass and the uni. And after that, sorry, everybody goes straight to me, looking at me like, because I was in the last line of the class, and they say, "How kind of crap is this in the university, really?"
And she was being serious.
Yeah, he was being serious.
And she actually wanted to devote a whole class on this.
Yeah.
She wasn't just having a little like, I don't feel like teaching today. I'm just going to talk about something different.
A little jog or whatever. No.
This was actually part of the class teaching, part of the course.
Part of the class, the anthropology. Yeah.
This was in Spain.
Yeah, it was in Spain. I think it was in the first course.
But
first year.
The whole everything about this topic, from the idea that the tribe, the modern day Jews are not the Jews of the original Hebrews, the Israelites, to the Egyptian artifacts and statues, including the Sphinx with the nose. I've heard that one. Someone told me from church. I remember someone from church told me. She said, "Taj, you know why the nose is not there on the Sphinx?" And I went, "No." And when she told me, I was like, wow, I never thought about that. I never considered that. I just thought it was like, oh yeah, the nose just got erosion, weathering or something.
Yeah.
And then I found out that actually there's so many statues. And I heard an explanation amongst I don't know, some sort of a geologist, archaeologist, probably, not geologist, archaeologist, who said that actually the reason why they do the nose is it was a targeted part of the face when you wanted to show that you have like conquered a land, yet you're now the new occupiers and you destroy their art. So instead of just, I thought, but wait a second, that's a very convenient way to cover up why it's only the nose. Like, why the nose? They said, oh, that's just a normal way to destroy someone else's art or structure.
No. For me, sorry for cutting. For me, it's more about, put it this way, the Egyptians, even right now, they don't figure it out how they made that pyramids, how they had that advance of in everything, how they back in the days.
This is so weird.
They
talking about this.
did something like we don't figure it out right now.
Yeah,
and have hundreds of years behind. So it's kind of the way to remember. We don't want to know this type of tribe or people. They way far in advance from the guys they conquer. So, like I say at the beginning, man, cut out the names, cut out the language, cut out the knowledge. And part of that is cutting the information. Like who you are, who you are. What is your culture? What is your principles? What is your lifestyle? And one of the ways is
remove your history.
Remove your history. Remove the information. Right, information is power all the time, and they don't want to know people like them. They're more intelligent and they're way far away from the Western Union, we can say.
Because the friend who told me about the Sphinx thing, she said to me that. So basically, what I was going to say to you was this sounds like this is in the same category as what I've watched, like these things, these podcasts and these other channels on YouTube. I've watched them for years. Jimmy Church, Coast to Coast AM. I've mentioned it to people on this podcast already. Coast to Coast AM, Jimmy Church. They talk about lost history.
Yeah.
So this fits in that category where they're like, and it's almost like what they're saying is this is hidden history. That this is a history that they who are now the winners in the battle between various people.
We're going to say that.
Yeah. The ones, there's a statement, history is written by the winners.
Correct. So
this seems to fit in that category of like, and one of the things she said, TAJ, she goes, you do realize that African people at one point in the Earth's the history of the Earth, they were the dominant power across the whole world. Like in the same way that you would say white Caucasian Europeans who've gone to America now and all this kind of stuff, and Australia, and they've in the same way that the predominant power, you could say, is the Western world. And I've always found it interesting. People talk about the West. It seems to be like the West is like there's a way to say the white countries of the world. Seems to be I never understood this whole concept of the West. Like, what is that? I've heard someone say that. He's like, what? He was talking on LBC, a talk show radio, and this guy was calling in. He was saying, he said, I think that this whole term of when we say West, he goes, we all know what we're talking about when we say the West. He said, you keep saying the West, the West, the West. He goes like, who is the West? Anyway. And she said, you do realize that. She goes, look at what the Bible is telling us as well. She said, look at Solomon. Look at the color of the woman that he's describing. It's a black woman. Then she started talking to people more about this whole thing about the Sphinx, lost cultures. She started talking about Noah and his 3 sons.
That's a good point.
There's that whole bit when she said that there was a curse that was put upon Ham. And Ham is the one who has Canaan as a son. Canaan is then the land, the people who inhabit the Canaanites, the land of Israel. So when the Hebrews came out from Egypt, they were going into the land of Canaan. And God, so this is the thing, is it basically, it's one of those things which it's like a rabbit hole. You know, you heard that phrase, the rabbit hole, Alice in Wonderland. You ever see that
No.
Disney film? I haven't seen Alice in Wonderland, to be fair, but it's it's one of these reference points that people talk about when they talk about either conspiracy theories, lost history, hidden history. They say that when you start going down one part of these topics, you then have to explore this topic. Then you have to explore this topic. Then that and then they say it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And they say that the expression is you're going into the rabbit hole. Like even in the Matrix, the reference is, you know, how deep is the rabbit hole? Like how far does this go? Because in Alice in Wonderland, she goes into this hole in the ground. And when she goes into this hole in the ground, she disappears into a completely different reality.
Okay, I know what you mean.
That's that's the concept of Alice in Wonderland. Is that Alice has gone into this hole. She's living in one reality. Then she discovers there's this hole. I think I haven't seen it. I don't know. She goes into this hole, and then she goes right down into the depths, and then she enters into a whole new world where everything is upside down. Everything is the opposite of what she knew. So yeah, and I don't know where to start, man, in terms of like, I still feel like I'm just listening to what you're saying, and I'm just thinking, man, there's so much for me I wanna understand here. I wanna listen to what you're saying and be like, the only thing about this topic is it can become quite controversial in that it boils down to something which I think shouldn't matter. But at the same time, if that lost history is correct, it kind of explains a lot in terms of human nature today.
Yep.
You know, what I'm saying is, it comes down to the topic of the issue of the color of someone's skin. Like, it seems to be like that's the big dividing line. And I'm wondering, like, man, is that there's something in us where God is saying every tribe, every nation, every tongue. God is up for diversity. But then maybe in our fragmented human minds, our fallen minds, it's no, we're going to war against each other. So it's not like, as you said, that tribe has every single representation of each ethnicity in that. Maybe in our fallen nature, we're just like, nah, it's my tribe, not your tribe, and no other tribe. So
yeah, I get. I mean, it can seem. It could seem like, okay, because I always think about, okay, so is a blood thing or is a belief thing?
Blood or belief?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Because if he is the line of the tribes, the line of blood from the 12 tribes,
right?
Or like that happened with the Jews,
right?
Like people who believe this is the right way,
right?
And that's always my concern. We know the blood is important because they have like a covenant with blood
in the Jewish Hebrew Israelite belief system.
Yeah, like
always a covenant by blood.
When Moses have all the stuff, so they had like a covenant with blood.
Yeah.
And that's for eternity.
Yeah.
So the blood matter, I would say.
Yeah, man.
The line of blood. But also, those they follow what they want, like the Most High want to put it that way. So the Most High, he knew what happened. He knew what was the problem. So they give them guys would say commitment, but I would say guys for a lifestyle to be better nation or be better or go forwards with better resolutions than what just happened. Like when you don't follow that structure or that commitment, you fall down. You just break your community. You break your spirit. You break your family. You break your life.
Yeah.
So for me, it's important. Like the way to believe in lifestyle.
Yeah.
And also the line of blood from the covenant. If it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that yeah.
So many times they say like, oh yeah, this is for everybody, this is for all believers. But I think both things are important. And you need to know this side and this side. And I don't want to say like, oh, this is priority than this, or this is priority than this. Both are important. But we need to know both sides. So who they are, these ones, and what it really means this side. Because I don't get it. Me personally, I don't get it like, okay, we can fall anytime. We can just, we are human beings. We can do whatever we want. And then just go back to, oh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, that was 4 minutes ago.
It seemed like it, right? It seemed like we just started. I told you. I say it to every guest every time. Enjoy it. Enjoy while you're here because it's going to go so quick. We've done 1 hour.
So
yeah,
I keep going or just
we'll end this bit and then we'll come back to it after the break. But okay. yeah, we'll come back to that thought. Thanks everybody. Hope you're enjoying it. I think this is something has changed with this particular podcast, which I like. Some new things are happening here. I think this is going to set the tone for the rest of them. I think it started. I think TAJ Talks has started. See you in 2 minutes. welcome back to TAJ Talks, talk number 8. Hope you're enjoying it. I really am. And you're here with me, my guest for today. It's Aser. I didn't quite get the music time right that time. It's Aser. The music was better that time. Yeah, it's the first time I got that wrong.
Man, it sounds good for me.
Yeah, man. So welcome back, everybody. Gonna go straight back into it. You were just saying, just during the break, why it is that sometimes when you're talking to people, it feels like there's a wall that starts to come between you and the person that you're talking to based upon the content, and then you realize I can't say too much more now. This person is judging me.
Okay. Yeah.
So hopefully, as you said, like the reason why we're both enjoying this is because there's no judgment here. I just love learning. And this was what I was just about to say to you. I was like, no, let me hit record now. We need to record this. Because what I was just about to say to you was, I have had thought processes in my head which can be very, very... There's a period of my life which I rarely talk about. I've never really shared it even with my own family in terms of the things. But there was a certain point in my life when I had a really wild experience with, I'd just say, supernatural. And certain things started happening, which the doctors at the time just said, yeah, that's because of the weed. I was smoking weed back then. And not just weed, but... not just smoking weed, but I was ingesting, like as edibles. You could eat, if you do it in the right way. Anyway. And then I stopped after a certain period of time. I was really young. I was like first year of university. And then I stopped. And when I stopped for certain reasons because some weird stuff started to happen. I'm talking like Matrix stuff started happening when I started to realize this reality around me is not quite what it seemed. But the weird thing was I wasn't smoking weed at that point. I'd stopped for like 3 months. I was clean. And then when I was getting like clean, I just stopped like that. And when I was getting clean, I started having thoughts that came from, they were growing slowly. I was looking into things like this, like the beginning of human civilization in my head. Like I was getting like almost, there was one point when I had like a huge dump of information. It felt like a download. The only way I can describe it is like something started, the thoughts just went in my head from one thought to another thought to another thought, and I had this huge download of information. And the weirdest thing was, there was a story, like someone was communicating me, telling me the story of the Earth, the true story of the Earth. I hadn't done the research. I was young. I was like 18 years old. I hadn't done the research at this point. I was getting drunk all the time, just having a laugh at uni. But when I stopped and I just kind of went, I need to start smoking weed. I need to clean my life up a bit. And then in that moment of clarity, which is really weird because what followed afterwards was really just confusion. But there was a brief moment of clarity when I started getting information coming from like nowhere. I don't know where. It's just like my inner voice just started going, okay, but think about this, think about that, think about this. And then what happens if you go there? And then what happens if you go further back? And now think about this aspect of human history. Now think about that bit. And this thing went all the way back. And I started creating this. It seemed like I was creating it, but really it was coming from nowhere. It was just being given to me. And there was a story that was given to me in my head, which years later, when I started looking into it, prior to coming to Newbold, the same story of the creation of the world, almost exactly, was what I discovered has existed in what they call the Sumerian legends of the Epic of Gilgamesh and the story of the creation of humanity there. And I went, wait a second. I got this information before I ever read it. How did I have the exact same story in my head? And I never read that stuff until years later. And then I started looking, before I became a Christian, I started looking into this thing called Gnosis and Gnosticism. And so Gnosticism teaches that that knowledge is actually the way that we're saved. Salvation comes through knowledge, through knowing, not gnosis, to know. And I've always been a little bit hesitant when I start thinking about it now as a Christian, because Gnosticism is something that John is writing against in the New Testament. The epistles of John, he's actually battling against the ideology of Gnosticism. But now that we're talking about this kind of stuff, it makes me wonder, there must have been something to all this stuff that I was coming across. It may not be 100% true. There might be kernels of truth in there. So I just say all of that to just say, this is not the first time that I've heard these kind of theories. As I said, a friend from church has told me, but it's also not the first time that my brain and mind has pushed itself to the limit. I almost see like what we're doing, what each of us can do if we want to do, is we can do the equivalent of being astronauts leaving planet Earth and going into the unknown. If each of us saw ourselves as like an astronaut, leaving the safety of Earth and just heading out into the unknown to see what's out there, I almost feel like on a knowledge level, that's what we should be doing. I also find that's a very dangerous thing to do as well, because that's a big world out there. How you make sense of it. So I was talking to Moy about this yesterday. There has to be some kind of reference point. So when you are coming across loads of different theories and ideas and concepts, how do you know that what you've just come across isn't just one of many false narratives? There may be little bits of truth in it, but overall, the story is false. But how would you know? So that's why I come back to this thing like, well, what's the reference point? And my reference point comes back to the belief that the Bible has not the fullest revelation of information and truth. It doesn't have all of the world's knowledge and stuff in there. But I've always said that I think the Bible is a work that has come from the divine. It's the divine's way of entering into our world and saying, here's all you really need to know. There's a certain amount that you will never know until things are fully revealed. But at this point, I'm revealing certain things, and the areas that you don't know is by design, because I'm trying to get you to focus on just one main thing, which is coming back to this issue of the blood and the belief. Sorry, because I remember you wanted to carry on with what you were saying there.
No,
So,
I mean, yeah, no, go ahead. I mean, for me, you mentioned one good thing, and it's about knowledge. I think knowledge is also one of the points you want to have that relationship with the Most High. You want to know more about Him, and you go further every single time.
Yeah.
I don't think you just stuck. Okay, I read the Bible. I'm good.
Right.
No. You can read the Bible hundreds of times, and you will find something new. And also, you need the Raha HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. We say.
How did you just say that? The Raha
HaKodesh. That's in Hebrew.
Because in Hebrew they say Ruach.
Yeah, maybe it's my accent. Yeah.
What's the Ruach Kadesh?
Yeah, I think it's
Holy Spirit.
Don't make me. Maybe I say it wrong in the pronunciation, but I say like Ruach HaKodesh.
Interesting. That's actually, I think the Hebrew is actually the Hebrew.
Yeah,
Ruach.
like always, I'll always say that and Yahuwah or Elohim, because for me the name is important.
Yeah, I've noticed you refer to God as
Yeshua Messiah. That's
Most High.
Most High, because Most High it's more like a reference, or King of Kings, or Eternal, but the name is Yahuwah or Elohim.
You think that's
Yeah.
important? You think that's important?
Yeah, the name is important. It's whole way important because it's one of the way to don't know the truth. Take away the names.
Let's come back to that because there's 1,000 questions coming into my head right now. Let's go back before we lose the point. What we were just saying before the break. That's fascinating what you're just saying there, though. You know, next door to us we have Jehovah's Witness. We live next to Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, really?
And he's always telling me how important it is to know the name of God.
Yeah.
And you know, even in my religion of birth, in Sikhism, there's a whole thing about remembering the name. It says it time and time again. Remember the name of God. Remember the name of God. Thing is, in our religion, we don't have a name for God.
Oh, really?
We have various like titles and descriptions, but there's no one name apart from one of the most common descriptions is Satnam Vaheguru, which literally translate to Sat Nam, truth, name, Vaheguru, wonderful counselor or wonderful teacher, which is very interesting because Jesus is referred to as wonderful counselor in parts of the Psalms, and truth is his name. Jesus says, I'm the way, I'm the truth. So in my religion, there's this whole concept of like, that's his name. Truth is his name. Wonderful counselor, wonderful teacher, wonderful guru. You know, he's a guru, he's a teacher. You know, the disciples walk around saying, teacher. Rabbi. So that's what I'm saying. There's so many things I could say just about that. And if we can come back to it, let's come back to it. Look, almost halfway through this segment already. So take me back to what you were just saying before. At the end of the last break, the importance of the blood and the belief.
And the beliefs. So I want to just say, like, in this part of the highlight, the commitments, or we can say laws, or we can say lifestyle. I think the importance of this is have, like, I would say it's like a marriage.
Right.
It's the perfect example of marriage. You can do things bad, but if you do it, it's there. It's no disappear or whatever. Oh man, nothing happened. Because really and truly, you know, when you do something wrong with your wife, we can say, you know that have like a consequence.
Yeah.
So it's the same with the relationship with the Most High. I think he's the husband and we are the wife.
Oh, it's exactly what Paul describes it as in the New Testament.
Yeah, and I think that's the first statement of, right now I talk about men, the first statement of how to be a good husband. You know how to be a wife with the Most High. To know both sides. Because the Most High is the best husband you can have. And like a wife, you know how to submit to your husband.
Yeah.
It can sound whatever you want, but
no,
that's how it is.
Yeah.
And in all the marriage, you have up and down, but always have consequence. And that commit with your relationship, with your belief, with the lifestyle, is the way how important it is him to you. Right. Put an example. Okay, the wife who say, okay, I'm doing what I want, and then just say sorry. At the end of the day, that couple will broke.
Yeah.
But the other wife who always do something, remember, I have a husband, and he will be thinking I'm doing right, or maybe he will affect him, or maybe I'm just putting in a low prestige his name.
Right, ruin the reputation.
Yeah, reputation. Because it is what it is. We are the wife, and the wife always represent the husband.
Right.
Wherever he goes, whatever he talks, whatever he say, whatever he behave.
Yeah.
So, and that have consequence. So if you have a wife and your wife is cursing everybody and is doing like a show and all that stuff, that come back to you like a husband. So it's that relationship of commitment that if you really over and over and over think about you represent him.
So that's the belief side. So that's the blood and the belief. That's the belief side.
That's the belief side. Like
The
you
importance.
have a marriage, a commitment with that lifestyle. It's not just I don't need to steal. I don't need to die. I don't need to kill, or I don't need to commit adultery. It's more like a relationship of marriage.
But and that can be quite universal. That belief side can apply to everyone.
Yeah.
But then you're saying that it's also important to realize the blood side.
Yeah, because for me, that's the truth. And know where all everything becomes, and why that happened, and why the curses, why everything is in that situation.
So,
and really the why all the transitions happened.
because when we talk about the blood, you're right. The importance of the actual bloodline from Eden. The story is saying, as soon as they eat from the tree, the story tells us that when he speaks to the serpent, who led them into that moment, he said, from now on, there is going to be war. And the interesting thing is, he says, between her seed and your seed. That often gets overlooked, the second bit. Because with the first bit, everyone goes, there you go, the first prophecy of the Messiah. It's not even saying between her seeds. The emphasis is on the singular, seed. And he says, and so when he says between her seed and your seed, yeah, it's making a reference to two individuals, and is saying, and he, so singular, one of that seed, one of the children that she will have, great. That's why the genealogies become so important in the Bible, especially in the New Testament, because they're trying to show Jesus has a bloodline that goes all the way back to Adam. And especially being part of, and they talk about the Israelites, being part of the house of Judah, the tribe of Judah, and
Correct.
being a son of David.
Correct.
There's something important in that.
The bloodline.
It's vital because it makes, at least for the purposes of recognizing who the Messiah is. Because if someone comes outside of that bloodline, the question is then, well, which bloodline did he come from? Because if he's coming from the other side, the serpent's side, then everything that guy is doing is not actually part of the prophecy of the one who's going to save. So we have to, so the bloodline becomes important in that sense, but only up until Jesus. That's my understanding, because the bloodline was supposed to be identifying. This is why time and time again in the Old Testament, there's various things that happen to the bloodline. That's why there's this whole thing of, like, through various moments of Israel's history, they get sent out to various countries, they get exiled, they get taken over, they start intermarrying with other nations of other bloodlines. So this is why the whole thing about the Hebrew bloodline is very important. Keep yourself separate. In the Old Testament, God was making this very important point: stay separate from the rest of the nations.
Correct.
And if they marry into your family line, they are to match your lifestyle, so the belief system. But for me, my understanding is that that's relevant only insofar as it's pointing to the Messiah, so that when the Messiah comes, you can be sure that this is the one that was prophesied to Adam and Eve. Apparently, when Adam and Eve had their first son, Cain, They thought that would be, so God says you've done something wrong, but don't worry, you're going to have a seed, and when he comes, he's going to crush the serpent's head. And they were thinking, as soon as they had their first son, this is it. God has given us a son, and he's going to do the job of crushing the serpent's head. So they named Cain. I think the meaning is God has given us a son, something like that. God has given, or something like that. The funny thing is that Cain is the one who ends up being in more of the spirit of the serpent. He kills his brother. And Abel's name, Havel, well, I remember we were learning this, it means vanity. You know the book of Ecclesiastes, vanity, vanity, all is vanity. That word, vanity, 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 Havel, or what, I've got the correct pronunciation, something like that, Havel. And that's the same name as Abel. So you have these two seeds, but for me, my understanding is that it's only important insofar as once Jesus arrives on the scene, you go, that's the seed, that's the Messiah. And what he does in shedding his blood on the cross, that's because it says that the life is in the blood. There's this whole thing, that's where Jehovah's Witnesses get their thing, like we don't eat anything with blood, because in the Old Testament it says the life is in the blood.
It's in the blood.
So, and the way the Jews and Muslims today, they do like the kosher and halal and all this kind of stuff because they drain the blood out. But anyway, my understanding is this idea of like the importance of identifying a bloodline today, I don't think that's so important anymore, because the Messiah has come.
So you think that it was cut when the Messiah dies in the cross?
Yeah, I think the things changed once Jesus dies on a cross. This is where the plan of God goes from working through one person or one nation, one bloodline, and then it says, because you had Jews and Gentiles, so you had the Gentiles were those who were not Jews, but then it says that once Jesus came, Paul is making the point. This is the great thing that they're trying to struggle with in the book of Acts, when the early disciples, Peter, who's a Jew, all the other Jews who were there following Jesus, because they were all Jews, Paul, who was a Jew, and then they get this vision. Peter gets a vision, Paul gets this thing, two separate individuals, and they're being given a message, and now Jesus is appearing to them and saying, now take this message to everyone, because it was meant for the Jews to begin with, but not for them to just hold it to themselves. It was meant to be entrusted to them so that they can be like a light to the rest of the world, to the other nations, and say, come into this. But that was the plan. Not to just be like, you guys are special and everyone else is not. It was like, you're special because you're the ones who've been entrusted with this message from the time of Abraham. Abraham comes into this. Even Abraham wasn't really a Jew. He became a Jew because God said, right, now I'm going to show you that a sign between me and you, circumcision. So I think, for me, if you ask me, the importance of identifying the blood and race and all that kind of stuff now, in terms of was Jesus the black Messiah? There's this whole thing about Jesus was actually black. And I'm thinking, that could be. But also, I don't think it matters what color skin he was and what his lineage is, or what anyone today who goes by the name of Jesus and says, I'm a disciple of Jesus, because Jesus has now said, I've come to do that thing, which then invites everyone in. Everyone can come into this now. That's my understanding anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I get the point. Like, this knowledge is for everybody.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's powerful and needed. Know all the history, all the details, who they are, why, and what happened, why they are so broke or or cursed in the way, like, put it this way. It could be an unfair or not.
Like an injustice.
The injustice, like you don't had any curse,
Right.
because you don't part of that commitment or that covenant on blood.
Right.
You're just part of the world.
Right.
Part of the civilization. Part of the history, whatever.
Right.
And you have the lucky to know about this.
Right.
And you just become, because you think it's kind of like, man, it makes sense, whatever. So, and you have the same, I would say, gift at the end from those they being cursed for their own decisions. So, for my understanding, those who are the curse people, they need to man, that's amazing. I'll be honest.
It's surprising. I've honestly, that felt like 3 minutes. That felt like 3 minutes had gone.
To 2, to 4, to 3, back at 3.
It felt like we'd only just started that segment. We got one. We're actually in the second to last segment now. Jeez. All right. This is why I say to each guest, we'll have to carry this on the next time you come on the show.
Yeah, we only talk about one topic. It should be more, but man, I like that.
We'll be back after 2 minutes. Second to last segment coming up, everyone. Hope you're enjoying it. We clearly are. We're losing complete track of time. See you in 2 minutes. Welcome back. You know what time it is. You're here with me and Aser for the third hour. That's right. It's the witching hour. Did it again, man. Yes.
Yeah, that was,
I always.
that was so tough.
You don't know how I love doing that bit. I did it again, man. That happened right the first time in the last podcast with Daniel, where I do the witching hour and I do that voice. I don't know why I call it. I don't know why I do that. I do know why I do it. I don't know why I keep doing it though.
The witching hour.
The witching hour, third hour.
Oh my God.
You look uncomfortable.
The witching hour. What?
Witching hour. Yeah. Have you ever heard this thing about like at 3 o'clock in the morning? Apparently, across cultures, 3 o'clock in the morning is a very well. It doesn't have to be witching hour. It doesn't have to be so dark as the witching hour. I just do that for a bit of a laugh because the music sounds a bit. 3 o'clock in the morning is like the most spiritual time. There's moments in the New Testament where it says Jesus came to them in the third watch. When you look at what the third watch means, it's roughly around 3 o'clock in the morning. My mum and dad, especially my mum, has always told me like around 3 o'clock in the morning is when, like if you want to pray around about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's something about 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what it is. There's something. It's just another one of those things that's just out there, like almost superstitious, I guess. So, but then the idea is also taken up in terms of like in medieval times with witches and stuff. Like they would be like, that's the witching hour. That's be like when witches would start doing their stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know. Back in the days, I always say, after the 3 a.m., man, nothing good happened. I'll tell you that.
oh, is that what they say? Nothing good happens after 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to reconsider this whole thing.
That's why I say, like, what the hell is this?
Well, I mean, even the way.
But yeah, I think it's kind of like culture, man.
Yeah.
In every part of the world, they say something different.
Actually,
But it's good to know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just another fact that's out there, I guess. Not fact or idea. Let's not go too far down this particular line. I haven't introduced you to the concept of tangents, have I? This is do you know tangents? Have you heard the
No, go ahead.
Tangents are something that I do regularly in this podcast.
Okay.
So a tangent is maths. You will have a straight line, right? But then when the line goes, you go straight, but then you start going off in that direction, and then maybe in that direction. These are called tangents. So I do this constantly in this podcast. It's I'm talking about one thing, and then I go like that, and then you end up all the way over there talking about some other topic, and you think, how did we end up talking about this? And he's like, man, where did we go? Where did the tangents come from on this one? So anyway, I do this a lot. But one thing I would say, just talking about all this weird kind of stuff, is me and Moy and housemates. Kyle had a friend of his who's round on Friday. We were sitting there, and we were watching this thing about supernatural stuff and Roger Monroe and all this kind of stuff. We started talking about like voodoo stuff, and apparently places in the world where it's really, really prominent, and apparently Haiti.
Yeah, man, that's the begin.
So Aser is from Haiti,
man,
originally. So
there you go. Shout out to Haiti.
Yeah, man. What is that true? Like Haiti? Did you?
Yeah, is the coon? They say coon in Spanish. They say cuna. I don't know if that makes sense. Like
Cuna.
The way begins.
Wow. Did you experience people who?
No, I'm lucky. I don't have nothing involved in that. But for example, my older brother was there like 4 years to have like a project to help the community and all that stuff, like a a project with the Spain government.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they tried to do voodoo on him.
On him?
Yeah. So it's real.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real.
Yeah, it's not jokes. It's real.
And that's when you realize, like, if it's real on that side, then there's got to be something real on the other side, which talks about protect yourself in the name of Jesus against this stuff.
Yeah, it's real. And also, it's real that he was protected for the Most High.
And he was protected.
Yeah.
And was he protected by taking the name Jesus in that situation, saying, Lord Jesus, protect me in this situation?
And I think, because he told me about that, the thing is, a little long story short,
Tangent.
he'll have like a...
It's fine. You're allowed to do it as well. It's all of us.
He have like a little boss.
Yeah.
He always have like an issue with him because he always want to take the money and don't do the things.
Oh, okay.
And he always have that issue with him, and he always confront him.
Okay.
To say, man, this is not the right thing, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, in that moment, he have, you have up and downs in the relationship with the Most High. But in that moment, they have like, okay, relationship. No, you know. And when everything's finished, and because he want to go to the top of here in Spain to say, man, this guy and this lady and this they doing this, they're stealing, they doing that.
Yeah.
And when he went to Spain, he realized everybody knows.
Yeah.
And everybody is agree with that, and everybody was like complice. They say complice, like
accomplice to the situation. Yeah.
Because the situation like is, man, you getting in a situation like almost get killed.
Jeez.
For being
speaking
sneaky. It's not sneaky. It's just to fight what you think is fair or what you think is
to do right.
To do right.
And that was the church. The people in the church were all part of the thing.
No, I think it was just like a charity stuff in Spain. I think because he was in Adra, Adra.
Yeah, Adra. Yeah,
he was in Adra in Ethiopia, and then he went to Haiti with another type of company.
Do you know, this is kind of going into a topic area. Like I said, there was many different things we spoke about that day when we first started speaking about, like, this, and we haven't really even touched the black. How do you define that thing again? That whole topic, Black Hebrew history. What do you call it? Black.
Put it this way, because it's actually it's a movie. Like, I recommend to use it.
All right.
It say like Hebrews to Negroes.
Hebrews to Negroes. That's the movie that's out there.
That's a movie who's playing all this stuff.
Okay.
So,
like on YouTube? Is it available on YouTube or Amazon or something like Netflix?
I think like Amazon, you can find it.
All right. I don't have Amazon Prime anymore. I got rid of it. But
Hebrews to Negroes, like, it means like we were Hebrews, but we become Negroes. We change that name.
Okay.
So, like I said at the beginning, the tribe had been sold for the other nations.
Yeah.
And then they start to spread for all around the world, like the Bible say.
Yeah.
That's the real Hebrews, Israelites.
Yeah. Okay, but the actual frame is
Hebrew Israelites.
Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah.
That's the if we talk about this topic in future, that's what this is, Hebrew Israelites. Not necessarily black Hebrew Israelites then.
Yeah. So
it is.
Yeah. The main point is different, like the Jews.
Yeah.
That's the black Hebrew Israelites.
Okay.
Like, it's implicit in that one.
Now I want to.
They don't say black Hebrew Israelites because it's like call a white.
Oh, right. So it's implicit in Hebrew.
It's implicit. Yeah.
You already understand when you use it in that context.
There you go.
Those people know.
That's why they say the real Hebrew Israelites.
I mean, it's not an uncommon idea. I think many people, especially these days now, are more aware, especially when you have tribes in Ethiopia, Hebrew tribes in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And I think even in modern day Israel, there is a plan that has been going on by the government to bring more and more Ethiopic Hebrew tribes and other areas. I think Eritrea is another one, Somalia. There are Hebrew tribes that they're trying to bring back to the land of Israel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole thing about that as well, about
And in Israel, they have many Israelites over there.
Israelites.
Yeah. They always want to kick that over there. Man,
Yeah.
it's search it. You
Yeah, we didn't do that. What were we trying to search
yeah,
before?
the tribe, they have like all the type of different, I would say, melanin, and also characteristics like Asiatic, ginger.
Oh yeah,
light
that was
skin.
it. So what did we search for?
I don't really, because I searched in Spanish, but maybe the tribe where all the race.
Lost tribes of Israel. Is that what we're talking about?
No, actually, that's a good point, because regarding of that one,
Lost tribes. Yeah.
it's not the last tribes. It's talking about the line of Noah, like
This is coming back to the
Ham,
Ham.
Khan, and Joseph. I know a good, it's a podcast, or I think so, like a recording, something like that. They talk about all of them, who they are, and all that stuff.
So it's not lost tribes. So what are you talking about?
It's the tribe who have all the type of
the tribe that has all the different nations
all
represented.
the different nations. Maybe if you can put it like that.
Hebrew tribe with all nations. Let's see what happens. 12 tribes of Israel. That's just the wiki.
And I think you can just describe the Hebrew. It's just a tribe in Africa. So if you put Africa tribe with all the nations.
African tribe with all nations.
There you go. I think it's kind of like.
Oh, that might be it. The Sun peoples. Let's see what happens if I go into this one. Wow, this is coming up from Wikipedia. Always told when I was studying theology, Wikipedia is not a reputable source, because people always be like, yeah, I found it on Wikipedia, and obviously in academia they'll be like, Wikipedia is not a source, like an academic source. But to be honest, this is where I think this is a really, really decent thing. Like, okay, it's not academic, but it's got. So is this the one then? So we've got.
I think they have like a little video over there. If you can.
They got a video.
I think if you go back, click back.
Okay.
They have like a little video you can explain.
These are just pictures. That's the Masai Mara. That's the Kenyan tribes. Is there a video? Should I just go into YouTube, or should I just do it? Inside a lost African tribe still living in the cities, India's forgotten tribe. Black Americans, Julie's Guide. No, I can't see anything that has.
Have a video.
Well, let's try and identify what they're actually called. Is it this one, the San people?
Maybe, yeah. Because I remember it was like a video. They saw all of them, like different characteristics in the skin and the face.
What if I put like?
Maybe if you...
ginger chime. Well, ginger's not really. Ginger. Ginger's just the color. So.
Or maybe you can put that name in YouTube. So maybe the sun.
Let's see.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Let's see.
The tribe of Sun.
Yeah, I get tribe of San people. San people, the day I met. History of the San people. Who are the Sand people? The world's old. This is just saying the world's oldest people. There's you're looking for one which is specifically talking about the tribe that has all nations. Tribe that has all nations. Let's see what YouTube does with this. The true Hebrew Israelites scattered amongst the nations. Does that look like the film that you saw?
No. That makes sense because
if I
everybody comes from Noah after the flood.
the true Hebrew. Well, it's something to look. I'm gonna try and look into it before the next time we talk, and then see if I can find something. Because
so, if you just want to type it, because I think it's interesting, and they call him say Ravi. I don't know why, but it's Jonah, and he's talk about the son of Noah,
Rabbi Jonah.
We can put Jonah or Rabbi Jonah, everyone. I don't want to say it. I don't like that. Say that thing.
Jonah. Talking about Israel.
Talk about the sons of Noah. No, it's not over there. Jonah. No, it's not.
None of these.
No, it's not over there.
We'll find it for next time. It's You got your phone? Oh yeah. This is when I need to have. This is what I was going to say to you. Have you ever seen Joe Rogan before?
I think so.
If I were to be brutally honest,
sorry.
Joe Rogan has this
ever been mad at the transgender
whole concept, pretty much the same concept of what I'm doing here, because he was the one that I'm imitating. I'm imitating him, but he has like someone who's like focusing just on the internet searches side of things, who does the searches. So while he's talking to his guest, he's like, "Oh, hey, Jamie, see if you can find that thing about this topic that we're just talking about." And then Jamie will go away and start doing it whilst he's still talking to the guest. Problem like with me is that I have to stop and do it, and then we lose the conversation.
No, it's okay. It's Jonah with Y. You say Y, no?
Jonah with a Y.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Walter Weiss. Where did I?
Jonah Golap.
How do you spell it?
YONA.
Golab.
There you go. So
and
you can put Golab and then Sons of Noah. Or maybe it's...
This is the guy, yeah?
Yeah, this is the guy.
Sons of God. Ashkenazi Jews.
They call it like that. They call it Ashkenazi.
I have heard of this. Ashkenazi.
Not Jews. That's the real name. That's part of the...
I heard a Seventh-day Adventist guy. His name's Richard Burton.
Yeah.
I got his... That was ages ago now. He was talking about it, and he said he knows it. He's done the DNA test, and he said that he's an Ashkenazi Jew.
Ashkenazi.
The thing is, apparently, a lot of people in the world, if you do a DNA test, you can find that you have Ashkenazi. Which then goes back to the theory that we all come from this tribe. If it goes all the way back to Adam.
So I think... let me see, go up. Son of...
God. That's Son of God.
I think it's that one. Or maybe...
You're looking at Son of Noah.
And go forwards. Forwards. I think it's not this one. No, it's not this one. No, it's not this one. Because I think it's...
I wanted to ask you something a bit, because I think for next time we'll try and find this and then go into it, because then it'll be a bit more
I
organised.
will pass you the link.
Yeah, send me the link if you can. But I was going to ask you, your brother...
Oh, okay. I think it's... Okay, I
You got a
find
link?
it. Yeah,
Send it to me and then we'll
Gentiles.
look. Okay.
Who are the Gentiles?
Let's
a biblical perspective.
Let's put that in for our second talk. We'll be more organised and we'll go into that. I'm going to watch it beforehand.
Yeah.
And then when we have our second time...
It's weird because I never told you about that. I never told you that. I mean, take a look about this.
No, you never mentioned that specific deal. Well, we've never really gone into it in this much detail and sat down and actually spoken this long about that topic. You see what I'm saying? I still feel like we've only just started talking about this Hebrew Israelite topic. We haven't really even got into the details. Just randomly, yeah. But there were so many other things I was going to ask you. Like, what's your perspective on what the Seventh-day Adventist Church? Because you became a Seventh-day Adventist, right? Your parents were happy that you were taking an interest in Christianity. Your brother, older brother, who's not part of any church, your second brother is a pastor of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So I was going to ask you, like, what's your whole thing in terms of Adventism and how you feel that? What is that?
So that's a good question. I'll be honest with you. I get baptized like 9 months ago, something like that. And all my life, it was raised like Adventist, we can say.
Yeah.
But I never be really part of that. I just born in that family.
So your parents were Adventists?
Yeah, my both Adventists, they're Adventists. And I always knew, like, they have something special in this thing. Because I always look what they do and what they say, if it did match. And many times in the church, I say, man, what are you talking about? Look at what you're doing. Beat your wife, you talk like that, you doing this behind, blah, blah, blah. But I always saw my parents, they always do what they say.
That's important, man.
So, I always know deep on me, like, this have something special. Because looking around you, man, the people's failing, and the people, it become more mean is one of the things, but weakness. Wickedness?
Wickedness or weakness?
Wickedness. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like morally they're losing their moral.
Yeah, like compass. More. I prefer lose my moral to aim something.
Yeah.
Like stand what I believe.
Yeah.
Because I know I can lose something tangible.
Yeah.
So I always look at that. Like where you stand, so you had the same stance if you lose something what you want.
Yeah.
And I saw that in my family, man. I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I win. I always stand in the same thoughts, in the same morals, in the same way of thinking.
Living by your principles.
Living by your principles. Living with a sample. So I always have that in my mind. Like, that's the good thing. But I want to try if I can do it by my way.
So that's when your brother started saying to you, okay, you're going to say...
That was all my life since 14. I know this is good, but I want to do it by my way. I want to do it, man. I take this. I don't pick that one. I choose and pick.
Right.
I'm doing it my way, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, if I don't change right now, I will be like that all my life. And I never, ever, ever could be, first of all, happy. Second of all, don't forget myself. And third one, never be proud of me.
you could never be proud of yourself.
If I don't change in that moment, never. Because it was the line like, don't way back.
You were talking about it even just yesterday. We were talking about it again. You had a completely different lifestyle, and it's up to you how much you want to share about that. But you were telling me it was completely different.
Yeah, it's like
in fact, when you were telling me about it, I think even Moy has said it. You're like, from what you've told me about your previous lifestyle, I have met a different person.
Yeah,
like it was a completely different guy.
I would say like that was different name. I'm gonna say I don't know.
How
another type of person.
What? So you made that decision to become more serious about your understanding of not Adventism, of God and spiritual things. What is it that still drives you today to do that? Is it because do you think it's the knowledge, coming back to the thing, like you feel like you've got to an understanding of certain things, you're like, this is the truth, man.
This is true.
Yeah, this is the end of this segment, so
no way.
I was just okay. We'll come back in 2 minutes. I was just about to get into this thing about the Seventh-day Adventist thing. All right. Anyway, well, we're definitely on time for you being able to get back to where you need to go back to after this. It's gonna be a good time. Well, only half an hour left now. It's only half an hour, and the next one is actually a shorter one because there's a mini break in between. Anyway, everybody, hope you're enjoying this. And we'll be back for the last half hour overtime, which isn't really overtime because it's always overtime. I've decided. All right, see you in 2 minutes. See you after the break. He's over there. I
know you want to point to me to start say something. I can do the intro.
I'm pointing to this guy, Aser, which you can't see.
Guy.
He's over there.
He's over there.
Because it looked like I was pointing at you. Aser, meet Bob.
Meet Bob.
That's Bob. Bob Vader, Silent Bob, Headless Bob, Bodiless Bob, I've forgotten the other Bobs. There's so many Bobs. But usually I do a weird thing with Bob in this segment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I'm holding him and I'm like moving his head around, and I don't know why. And at the last podcast I was like, I'm sick of this segment. I'm sick of it. So everybody, I'm not even holding Bob anymore. He's slowly being phased out. Like Bob is the first ever guest. He used to sit in that bit over there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
When I first started, I did the first podcast by myself. So when I did the very first podcast, Bob was sitting there because I was introducing the concept to everyone, like sitting where Bob is sitting. And really, Bob just came into it because when I was setting up the whole thing, I needed to work out lighting. And I needed to have a way to have a reference point to see how the lighting would work with the guest sitting there. So we have this polystyrene head from downstairs in the living room, which has been in this house for years. Don't know where it came from.
No.
And I started using that head. I went, oh, perfect. I've actually got a head I can use. So I put a head there whilst I'm here, and I would film and I would test the lighting and all this kind of stuff. One of the reasons why it took ages for this thing to happen, because it was so much to set up. Like the whole room was laid out in a different way before. But anyway, so Bob was really just like a sort of a testing thing. But then I kept introducing him in that particular bit of the segment. I kept bringing Bob back into the show, and I got sick of him. I've just got sick of him now because I'm just thinking he's done his job. His job of being my test subject there is done. Like it's like there's no need for Bob now because the guests are here. The show has started. Anyway, that's the whole thing. Sorry about it, everyone. I think
yeah, sorry about that. No, explaining the process.
They've heard it so many times before as well. And yeah. Anyway, I'll say that for another time. There's yeah. Anyway, coming back to this. So we're now into this is going to be like a 20-minute segment. There's going to be a 1-minute break, and then we come back for the last. I think it's like 5-10 minutes, 10 more minutes. So really, what I would be doing now is I would usually my plan was always to have the end of the guest would be done. That's it. And this last segment, I would go back to talking about like just other things, wrapping up the show for the last half hour. But it's never happened because I've always wanted to talk more and more to the guests. So I went, forget it. Let's just carry on talking. And then I've shortened the last segment to being like the 10 minutes is when I just wrap up. So like I was just saying to you in a break, man, they go so fast. There's so many things that we could talk about. We've only scratched the surface. And there's so many things that I wanted to talk to you. Your opinion of Ellen White, your position on the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I still want to go into this whole thing about Noah and Ham and the curse and what you think that's really all about. It's I want to go into that. Well, let me ask you. What is your take? Let's go to the Ellen White thing. Ellen White, prophet or not?
No prophet.
Not a prophet.
No.
That's really
I remember this topic.
Yeah.
Man, I get
controversial.
A lot of troubles for this topic.
This is a very controversial.
Man, even with my brothers. Yeah.
And yet you have been baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
That's a good point. I mean, for me, I don't think I got baptized for the Adventist Church.
Interesting.
Because for me, it's like I say, I've been talking about that, the marriage. It's make it public and commit with you. That's the baptism thing.
Not to the church.
Not to the church, man.
So here's a question. How comes you wouldn't have... Did you consider getting baptized by maybe into a Baptist church or a Methodist church or even Roman Catholic church?
No, you know what happened?
Yeah, go on.
Because I always say to my brother, Cliff, her name is Cliff, I want to get baptized for you.
Oh, from your brother who's a pastor.
Yeah.
You wanted him to baptize you.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So it's not about, Pastor, no, I want to baptize for you because he always been something, not something, someone so important for me because it's an interesting story. Man, long story short.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Long story short.
That's what you said last time, by the way.
At the beginning, we so close.
You and your brother.
Yeah, my brother. Because the older one, he's not that into sport. So my middle one and myself, we always play together.
Okay.
And play football. So with that, it becomes more close to each other. And then something happened. I don't want to get into that.
Fine, yeah.
And we become, I would say, difficult relationship.
Right. Something happened.
Something happened, and then we spare each other.
Right.
We have like a little
distance.
And I realized in this process of become a better person, get that relationship with the Most High, and I start like he's the signal of a new me.
He say that again. The
signal of I change.
He's the signal.
The signal. I say the signal. The signal. Yeah, the signal. He's the signal to really, I said, change. It's what we say like.
He was the reason that you made certain changes.
It's not the reason.
The sign.
The sign of I really changed my life, my thoughts, because I had something so deep with him.
Yeah.
Like I never can forget. And to get by touch from him, I think it makes that thing deep get out and really understand what is the meaning of forgive.
Wow.
And it's my brother because
wow,
I always miss him, and I always thought about how to back to those days. But I never want to get through that situation because my mind was more focusing what happened
when you had a falling out.
Yeah. Rather than who it is.
Right.
In the fullest sense. Man, it's my brother that I never can change that. It doesn't matter. We have different type of views or different
opinions, perspectives. Yeah.
He always will be my brother.
That was one of the major reasons why you said in the end, I'm going to join this church.
No, that's the main reason to him. You need to be the guy who baptized me.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. You got baptized into this Seventh-day Adventist church, not really for any reasons to do with the church.
No.
It's set of beliefs.
No. And I think it's no Adventist church. It's just because he's my brother. Maybe my brother was like Jew or Catholic. It doesn't matter. It's because him.
That's really so
that makes sense.
But is there something about his belief in the Adventist church that you kind of looked at and went, and that's why I also appreciate him, because I can see he's living a certain lifestyle, which according to him, he's doing it, I guess, I'm just assuming, he may be doing it because he's saying, listen, I believe that this church has certain truths and I'm living by this truth. Do you think maybe in some way you're, not only because of the brotherly bond you have with him, like you're going, man, I want to do this and I want him to be the one. He can be a Jehovah's Witness guy. I don't care what the church is.
Yeah. I mean,
although you would
really, truly, if it's not something close what we thought or believe,
Yeah.
it couldn't happen.
Okay, so it has to be a certain amount of...
Yeah, because if you know, it don't make sense. If you are, for example, I don't know, something like
Let's say he
different.
was
Buddhist,
Muslim or Buddhist.
Muslim.
Like, I don't believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
So if I tell you I want to get baptized in this thing, they say like, man, find another way.
That's very interesting then. So here's the question then. So what is it about the fundamental aspects of what he does believe in that makes you go, these are the key things? Certain things he believes in, I don't agree with that, but it doesn't matter. But at least he believes in X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like what are the key things then?
Yeah. One of the keys is the Sabbath.
Sabbath. That's important to you.
That's important. That's
you came to that understanding for yourself, not because your parents.
No.
You came to that understanding yourself.
Yeah, that's.
Man, I should have asked you this question earlier.
That's. I would say that's the beginning of everything.
Jeez, that's so important. Why?
The Sabbath.
How did you come to an understanding of the importance of the Sabbath yourself? What made you think that? Okay, hold on. Before I go to that one. No. That's one, Sabbath.
That's one, Sabbath.
Yep.
Then the Messiah came to die for us.
So the fact that Jesus is the Messiah.
Yeah, the Messiah. And for me, I think it's that too.
And like, what?
That's the only two.
Only two key.
Who the foundation is the same.
And you were saying, as long as, like, my brother can have all the others' beliefs, but these ones he believes in. That's what makes you go, I want to be baptized into this.
We can do it.
We can do
make
this
it happen.
because me and you are on the same page.
Yeah, that's something basement.
I want to explore both of them, but I'm worrying we're not going to have time. We won't have time. I want to go. I think we save the Sabbath for another time. Because I often talk about specifics of Seventh-day Adventism on this podcast. Specifics, I go into it. But for me, I became a Christian. I was a Sikh, and I became a Christian on that point. Jesus is the Messiah who died and rose again, because the importance of the. What made you? What changed in your life where you realized how important it was for you when you accepted that Jesus Christ was the Messiah? What made you come to that decision? What made you come to that realization?
So, like, you mean how I understand, like,
when did you realize that Jesus? When did it really hit you, and you just be like, man, that's it. I believe this. Like, I'm going to live my life for this truth that I believe in.
Okay. You say in general the
almost
Bible, like, but these two things they're important, like that. Like
yeah, you mentioned the Sabbath being really important.
Yeah,
but then you also mentioned Jesus,
Most High,
is the Messiah.
I mean, that's the two things we believe. My brother and me, that the same. But for me, the first click to say go for it or feel part of I would say a culture,
a community.
No, I think it's more culture, a lifestyle. I don't think it's a religion.
You know, that's interesting because they call it the way. The early disciples were called followers of the way.
Yeah, it's not a religion. It's a
lifestyle.
Yeah. So, for me, it's for the experience I had when I just say, only you can change my life. Because I've been like that, like 20 years, 15, I don't know. And I realized like you are the only one who can change myself. And it happens.
Yeah, man. From what I understand, like a miracle happened.
Yeah, 100%. That's the only word you can realize with that happened. A miracle.
and you put that down to this man, Jesus. That wasn't me blaspheming. I was about to finish my sentence. This man, Jesus. You believe that this guy is the real deal. He is the only one that can make a man change his heart.
Yeah. Make his life, change his life, change his purpose, change the entire environment.
We have to get ready for the last bit. I'll just say it to you now, man. Thank you so much.
Man, my pleasure.
For being here. And this only just started. What a way to come to the end. We got a last 10-minute section. I'll just talk about some other things at the end. We have to carry on at another time.
It seems like we don't finish.
We only just started. All right, everybody. We'll be back in 1 minute to wrap up the show. That's it. Another TAJ Talks has been done. We'll come back after the break. 1 minute. We'll wrap it up. See ya. Welcome back, everybody, to TAJ Talks. That is talk number 8. Done and dusted. Well, not really. We've got another 5 minutes or so. Just saying to Aser. Yeah, there was just so much there. He's just saying it during the break. He'll be back again. And I'm going to carry on just kind of talking to Aser. Usually I would just do, in this bit, I would just do kind of like a news summary and just catch up on stuff that's happening in the news. Yeah. And the guest will usually just sit there in this moment and just relax, chill, whilst I just talk to the audience in the last couple of minutes. But what I'll do is I'll just sort of say there's so many things that we didn't really get a chance to even, like I said, we didn't really do an introduction. We just went straight into Hebrew Israelites so quickly, man.
Straight away.
So, mate, what have you got planned to? You got a shoot off. You said. Have you got one thing that, just so everyone knows, Aser is very heavily involved in another community, which I was saying to you yesterday is almost as important as the community of the church to a certain extent. However you define that community for yourself, but you're a coach in a basketball team, right?
Correct.
Could you show that? Are you able to show that, Coach Aser? If I move that bit.
I don't know if you saw it.
Can they see Coach Aser? Yeah, I think they will see that.
I'm saying something over there.
That's your...
I'll have it here more.
Oh, yeah.
More poppy. More nice. There you go.
See, he's not just a guy with knowledge and information in his head. He's a creative. You're part of the community for sure, man. You're part of this TAJ Talks community in terms of you're a creative individual, man. I was really impressed when I saw that. How's Coach Aser going?
Man, actually, it's pretty well. I'm blessing. I'll be honest. I'm so excited with that new project.
I think we need to...
my brand and also my academy. But I think the Most High put me in the right place in the right moment.
Amen.
So right now it's more do the things He cannot do for you. The things you have to do it. Like put the effort, the hustle.
I think we're going to have to spend some time in one of the podcasts. I don't know which one is going to be, because right now there's at least like 10 podcasts we can do and cover just some of the topics. But in one of those podcasts, we'll have to just do a focus on your sports and your coaching and all the stuff that you do, the things that you're doing with the kids, encouraging these young people, talk about your whole philosophy about this world needs men.
Man, that's
another thing.
Main point. I think we forget about that. Like the men, they are struggling today, those days, and the youth as well, and me myself as well. So I think
Likewise.
it's important to give a little tools, for the new generation, to become the best version of themselves, and get ready for the world, because it's not easy.
Right.
And we need good men in these days.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Like I've been so interested just with, and Moy as well, seeing Moy's journey. It's like everyone's on their journey, but literally, mate, we're coming to the end. Like I know it, the music's going to come in. So that's it, everybody. It really felt it's gone so quick. We've only covered a fraction of what we could have covered. But that's it. That's the end of the show. I tried to get as much, even right until the end, everybody. I tried to keep as much more as I could from Aser. So again, Aser, thank you so much for being here.
Man, thank you. That was a good run, a good topic, a good talk. The TAJ Talks.
TAJ Talks.
And man, I'm hoping I come as soon as possible.
Hey, and here's the other thing we need to talk about at some point. I need to come onto your podcast one day.
That's a good point.
We missed that bit.
My podcast is more for basketball, man, but we can do a new edition.
Do a new edition, man. I'm ready.
That's
to
a good idea, by the way.
I'm ready to talk about Jesus and basketball.
All together once.
All right, man.
No, but thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, appreciate you being here. Everybody, say your goodbyes to Aser. And that just leaves me to say to all of you, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here for another TAJ Talk. And that's it. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, good night, God bless. See ya.